Do you want to grow more food with less work, no matter where you live? Well, hydroponics makes that possible. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Laid Back Homestead. I'm Crystal, and today I want to show you just how easy it is to grow hydroponically. And I just want to say a quick little note before we jump into it. If there's anything you're interested in seeing grown hydroponically, I want you to comment it down below because I do have open space left in my system, and you'll see that at the end of the video. If there's ever been something you've been intrigued by or you want to see grown hydroponically, comment it down below. So this is what we are dealing with. The hydroponic system is a jungle. I do not currently have a good path to get around to perform any of the maintenance. As you can see, it's practically touching my green stalk. And while everything in here is doing really well, I have finally made the decision that some of these are going to be yanked out. We'll do a final harvest, and then we're going to plant out more fall things in our Dutch buckets to grow. This is our broccoli from our cotton ball experiment. You can see is doing well. And even though it's getting sun right now, everything else around it is taking over. So I think it's time. The only peppers I want to keep in here, I think, is going to just be my bell peppers. So I think the easiest way to do this is actually going to be to cut the plant completely down at its base. And then we're just going to bring it into the shade to harvest the peppers off because it's still really hot here, even though it's technically fall. We're having a little family water fun today. He's helping to mist the plants. That's a lot of peppers. And these were the Mad Hatters, which were sweet. Got some giant aconguas going into the mix. As my husband's hacking away at the plants, I wanted to talk about my journey into hydroponic growing. My journey into hydroponics was brought on by necessity due to bacterial wilt in my soil. However, after growing this way for a couple of years, I now believe everybody should try hydroponic gardening. So part of the reset process, because these plants have been growing in here since late winter, early spring, they have a pretty decent sized root ball. You want to get that out of your system before planting anything else, just because you don't want any of your new baby plants to have to compete with all of that. So we take that out, and you can compost that or throw it away. Either way, whatever you prefer. The roots do hold on to a good bit of nutrients, so I do try to compost it when I can. And this is where a tool like a knife is really handy. It just helps you get in there and kind of cut away at everything. And you can see the health of these plants just basing it off of their stems and their trunks practically. At this point, they've almost become trees. I truly believe that growing hydroponically is the easiest way to grow food. It grows a large amount of food, and we deal with a whole lot less pest pressure and a whole lot less diseases on the plants. So I'm able to grow 2 plants typically per bucket. So for something as large as a root ball like this, I would use my compost tumbler or compost in place or a traditional compost pile. I would not put that in my pre-composter in my kitchen. So while we're harvesting our peppers, I want to take this time to talk about the top 5 reasons I think you should consider growing hydroponically in your yard or in your home if that's what you prefer. So number 1 would be superior yields and faster growth. I've seen it reported that hydroponic plants can produce 3 to 10 times as much fruit as plants grown in traditional soil. Now, what I can say from my own experience is that growing hydroponically extends my season clear through the summer. When other plants that are in ground are getting too hot to produce, the hydroponic plants keep producing. And so for that reason alone, I can say conclusively that I do get more yield off of those plants. So number 2 is less water usage. One of hydroponics' bigger environmental benefits is its water efficiency. These systems recirculate water using up to 90% less than traditional soil-based gardening. And speaking from my own experience, I do know that even in the height of the summer, growing 20 fully mature plants, I only have to fill up my 27-gallon water reservoir twice a week, which is far less than my in-ground plants, which I'm having to water several times a week. Number 3 is space efficiency. As I touched on earlier, I'm able to grow 2 plants per bucket, which if I was growing them in-ground would be the space for 1 plant. Number 4, less pests and diseases. Growing hydroponically eliminates any of your soil-borne pests and diseases. I can say with certainty that I have never had to spray a hydroponic plant. Even though I grow outside, so I'm not in a controlled environment, occasionally I will see some fungal issues. However, the plants seem to be stronger as a whole and can fight off on its own anything that tries to touch it. I have literally never had to spray a plant growing in my hydroponic systems. And number 5, I can honestly say it is the easiest way I have ever grown a garden. And I have tried growing in all different types of methods, all different types of ways. This is the easiest way. All I do 2 times a week is I top up my nutrient solution in water, and that's it, other than the occasional pruning and harvesting. And if this video intrigued you to try hydroponic gardening and you'd be interested in a complete build out of my new system, I encourage you to subscribe because that video will be coming. Okay, so now I'm going to plant out in my hydroponic system some of my cotton ball babies. This was, I believe, a purple cauliflower. I may be wrong. I did not label any of my cotton ball experiments just because I wanted to be surprised with everybody else. And all you do, if you've already got it started in your cotton ball and it's already sprouted, you just make a little hole and tuck your cotton ball right into your hydroponic system. So not only did I already pre-start some of my cotton balls, but I thought it would be a fun experiment to go ahead and sow the seeds directly into the system. So I have one I've already done. This is actually going to be the giant Sapporo cabbage. I've never grown cabbage hydroponically, so that'll be exciting. And then here, I think I'm going to do the Brussels sprouts. This is the Long Island Improved little single seed challenge, if you will, if I can get it right in the middle or close to the middle. You just want to make sure that it's made contact with the cotton ball, and you want to make sure that your water is actively hitting the cotton ball so it doesn't dry out during the day. So this is our refreshed for fall hydroponic system. This is the Dutch buckets. This was our first cotton ball brassica that we planted out. You can see thriving in here. We do have our bell pepper varieties. Like I said, I wanted to keep some sweet peppers going for as long as possible. And we have our latest cotton ball experiment and 2 brand new ones we're going to try. This will be interested to see if I can grow cabbage hydroponically. Never done that before. We did end up keeping a serrano plant, which is spicy, as well as a Jimmy Nardello. I didn't get a whole lot of Jimmy Nardellos this year, at least not hydroponically. So since I didn't get a whole lot of them, I really wanted to see if I could get some more into fall. You can see we've got peppers coming on. And then we still have some empty bays here. Another bell pepper right there. Comment down below what you want to see grown here. Well, guys, not a bad harvest, and glad that we were able to get our hydroponics rolled over. So thank you all for hanging out with us today. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're into gardening and homesteading content, I encourage you to subscribe. And until next time, stay blessed.